Well, hello guys. This is the list of top 5 supervillains in Indian cinema. Yes, most of the superheroes have to fight goons, boss, or gangster, but these are the supervillains created and they are as powerful as the Indian superheroes. The first one on this list is Akshay Kumar in Robot 2.0. Well, Akshay Kumar is an ornithologist, and what he wants to convey through this message is that, especially the story of this robot 2.0, which is just equal to robot, is that the waves or the radiation waves are killing the birds and it's causing and great in environmental damage, and thus nobody listens to him, and thus he gets a tragic death, and from there he rises as a super villain. Yes, and hats off to the makeup team because he looks stunningly great villain. The power he has is almost comparable to Chitty. Yes, he can almost destroy buildings by being a big bird. He can be a giant robot. He can be many things, but his main focus is to destroy humans because the humans are destroying the environment. His cause is noble, but his way of doing is wrong. Actually, that's the main part of the movie, but when you see the movie you will see the VFX is done beautifully. Akshay Kumar dives in his role very well, and I will say in this list he's the most powerful supervillain. The second one is Shibu from Minnal Murli. Minnal Murli is one of the best movie of mine. Well, because it's one of the greatest superhero movie. It's the origin of superhero, but at the same time origin of supervillain. Yes, they both get lightning strike at the same time. They both don't die, and they both get various powers. Well, about the Shibu is that he's been disrespected by the town every way, every time, and his love of his life also doesn't notice him, and he's just a simple guy, simple job. He has no ambition in his life. He's a failed guy, but when he gets his powers, he wants just one thing. He wants to get his love of his life, who has come from divorce. Yes, or his husband has left him, and from there we see the rise of villain. He even kills the father of love of his life, but the main thing is that he goes to rampage mode because when the town understands about his powers, or he's the culprit of this mysterious acts, they want to kill him, but they kill the love of his life, and in turn he wants to kill all the town people. And we from there we see one of the best climatic scene, best one of the fight scene between the superhero and supervillain. I will say Shibu did one of the finest job in this movie. The VFX is top notch, the action is top notch. I will say the cinematography during this fight scene is also one of the greatest. It's You have to watch it to believe it, and Shibu is one of the great supervillain in my book. Well, Ravan is one of the most SRK disastrous ambitious project. Yes, because even though it had one of the greatest VFX, it had one of the worst stories, one of the worst characters, and much more. But one of the coolest thing in this movie was Arjun Rampal. I will not lie, he was one of the coolest in these movies, and the way he shown or introduced is one of the coolest, best way and best use of VFX. And he has that menacing looks. In everyone praised Arjun Rampal for his supervillain role, and he was quite extraordinary in this movie. Well, the fourth one is Chris 3. It's a sequel to the Chris 2. Chris 2 was fantastic movie. It was my childhood favorite movie. But Chris 3 just goes completely down track. It's a garbage version of X-Men. And in this, we get the super villain, Vivek Oberoi, who gets the powers from Chris' father. Yes, some kind of blood transfusion. But he gets the power like Magneto. And his goons have the powers like other mutants in X-Men. It's one of the worst movies I have seen. It has copied so many scenes from various Hollywood movies like Matrix type action scenes or X-Men style fighting between the goons and much more. But why have I added this? Because he's one of the powerful supervillains in this list. Thus I have included, and it's one of the worst movie, but still the supervillain and the VFX team did great job portraying him, except for that garbage suit. So that's it, guys. Well, the last one is my favorite movie, Brahmastra. Yes, Brahmastra is one of the ambitious project of Ayan Mukherjee, and he does his job very well. And in this, we gonna get a super villain in female. Yes, This is the first time after a decade we are getting a super villain as a female, and our villain wants the one of the powerful weapon Brahmastra, and Rambir is there to stop her. But as we see the movie progresses, we get to see the VFX team does a great job, and she is one of the convincing villain in this list. This movie has perfect everything: a great story, a great arc, great villain, and it's a very enjoyable movie. And she can be ruthless also, and her powers are amazing, I will say. So this was my complete list. Write down your favorite supervillain